All right, welcome to another Shop Class podcast. We are coming to you live, and we've got a round table of amazing people with us tonight. We've got our guest tonight is Brandon. He is a converter, but I think he's originally a musician, and he brings his artwork and creativity to the electric vehicle space. Brandon, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you.
Yeah. Brandon's on a little delay, but sometimes it comes back. I don't know. Yeah, and so he converts cars from gas to electric. We taught together for a while, but he's got a great story. We're going to get into it. But we also have some other regulars, and we have the OG, the person who helped me create this podcast, Matthew Barbercheck. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Really good. Good to see you.
Yeah. I obviously been a little distracted.
Yeah, well, you've been busy. You created another person, so
yeah. Yeah, she's already like 4 months old. So
that's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. We also have regular on the show. Peter Molinaire is in the house representing Toronto, Canada. How you doing, Peter?
Doing okay.
This is Happy New Year, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Peter's he knows a lot about passive houses. It's kind of like the electric car guy, but for houses and efficiency and whatnot. And then we got the bouncer is in the house, the Harley Davidson driving man. We got Duke Lazowski, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. How you doing?
Good. I'm well rested. 2-hour delay today.
Oh, okay. Flooding.
2-hour delay. Yeah. Barbercheck, good to see you. Congratulations. Heard about the baby.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. And we also have a science teacher that teaches with me, surprise jump-in guest, and her son, Margaret Zelenka, and Maverick. What's up? I don't know what happened there. Try it again. Unmute. Oh, you're pressing the wrong button. I don't know what you're pressing. Maverick, teach your mom how to use the phone. What's going on?
No. As Matthew's going to find out, my daughter's calling in from her other event, so it was going crazy on the screen.
I am known as the go-kart driver around here.
Maverick drives
on track.
Maverick is interested in going fast with his go-kart. So
let me tell you, I seen him. He looks like a little kid. No, that's a race car driver. It's disguised as a little kid. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I've known Ron for 20 years now, guys. Does anybody beat me?
No in here. Oh, I don't know. No, probably not. Brandon knows me for a long time, and Barberchuck knows me a while. But geez, no. Margaret's got it beat. 20 years.
20 years with this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably pop in and out. I look forward to listening. I listen to the podcast all the time, but on Spotify, and this is my first time joining live. So
8 years with this guy.
8 years with this guy, almost 9. All right, guys.
Yeah, and I should tell you that you mentioned this before we started recording, is that Margaret helped me teach about electric cars back in the day when we first did our 2008 conversion. And she taught the science of electric cars, or alternative fuel.
Alternative fuels, yeah. I was always downstairs looking at the cabriolet, oh, look at that. And he just looked at me one day and he was like, do you want to teach the science of alternative fuels? And I was like, yes, I do. So took that and went with it and did a marking period in petroleum, marking period in battery technology and chemistry. We made electrochemical cells, did some biodiesel from vegetable oil, and what am I missing there? I'm missing something, but it was a fun class. We had a great time.
Yeah, and that was early days. I mean, Tesla wasn't even on the stock market yet.
Yeah,
wild.
we watched Elon Musk get into the number 3 Roadster and thought it was cool. Like, oh, look at this guy, and now look at it. Look at him.
Amazing. And Talik, thanks for jumping in. Talik is that's a pretty cool Cybertruck model you got there. Talik, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Back for night 2 in a row with you here tonight.
Yeah. So I had to break the podcast into two separate podcasts because we were doing a lot of EV stuff on the Shop Class podcast, which is great, but I don't want it to only be EV, and just the EV thing just follows me everywhere. So we broke it into, we have a Tuesday night electric vehicle kind of community hangout. And Brandon, you would be a great contributor. Come in next week if you got the time, and you don't have to stay the whole time. Just come in.
Cool.
And Talik, I should say, is a kind of like a social media contributor. He follows the stories and the challenges of the growth of Tesla, but he also interviews people that are building electric vehicles, like Johnny Five out in California. He's got a small electric drive Tesla drive unit underneath a pickup truck, and I'll give you the details on that. You'd like it because we showed a lot of your stuff, and you guys might have met at some point. I don't know. So anyway, so let's get back to Brandon, the guest of tonight. Man, you've come a long way, dude. We're gonna have to start at the beginning. One of the things we do here is we start with a very important question. We start with the most important question of the whole night. I can't even hold up this question myself. I don't got enough muscle. So what I do is I gotta pass it off. Yeah, I gotta pass it off to the man, Duke Lazowski, middle school shop teacher, and he's going to ask you the first question of tonight.
First question, Brando, did you have shop class growing up?
I did, in and out. You know, it was middle school, I believe, when that started. What you'd probably call junior high. And we touched on a little bit of metal, a little bit of wood, a little bit of plastic. Like, messed with some plexi. I don't know. It wasn't nearly enough. Oh, we did some drafting. And I did well at that. I got some good marks at that. But enough to whet your appetite. I don't know. It wasn't. We needed more of that.
Yeah, man. A little bit of issue with your connection. Is there anything you could do about that?
Well, I got this guy, and I'm actually overachiever. You know, it's not helping.
No, there's some sort of delay, and just let you know, we can hear you, but it's kind of like digitized a little bit. So a little bit of housekeeping. Sometimes that happens. No big deal.
Let's see. I'm on my best Wi-Fi. I'm not sure what to do. I could leave and come back.
Give it a shot. This way we can smooth out the rest of the ride. You know,
I'm gonna close I'll close some programs or something.
Okay, that could probably help too. He's probably in the middle of designing something and whatnot. So I'll pull up his website, and so sounds like Duke, perfect question, because it sounds like he got his start in the middle school.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Exposure. That's what we, that's the goal, is exposure. But like you said, not enough time. I think a lot of middle schools run into that same issue of, they want to expose the kids to the courses that they can take in high school, but sometimes it's not enough time. But they have to cover a lot of bases too with the specials. You have your foreign languages, you have your arts, you have your phys ed classes, home ec. So it's tough, writing a schedule at the middle school level.
Yeah. He said, he mentioned plastics. Like, I never really messed with the plastics that much, but I did. I worked at a modeling shop for a while. Actually, point of purchase, if anybody knows what that is like literally when you go to check out, all the stuff they're trying to sell you last minute. When I was in college, I made models for that stuff. We did a lot of plastic, man. We cut so much plastic on the table saw. It was unbelievable. But anyway, Brandon, you're back. Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
So we got a plastic project. It's the old cell phone holder.
Oh yeah, and do you bend that with a wire bender or like a heater of some kind?
Strip heater. Yep, strip heater. Then you have the old classic. You put the 1-inch strip of metal in the lab oven. Put on the glove, and then you wrap it around the broomstick.
Oh.
Drill a hole in it, and it's a keychain. Kids love it.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know why, but my memory just popped up Shrinky Dinks. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Some of them with a nice colored
That was-
pencil.
It was like a big piece of plastic. You put it in the toaster, and it would go like this.
Yeah. They had the little stands for them too. They can pop up like the Smurfs.
What was that? Just the idea that you could shrink
Hey.
plastic.
Bring them back. They're bringing all this stuff back from the 80s.
Oh my god.
Probably not healthy for you though.
No. Oh my god. So,
Plastic Trinky Dinks in the oven, then we put a pizza in right after that.
oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, just
Right.
share it. So Brandon,
Any
yeah.
better?
yeah, you're there.
Am I better? Say yes.
Yes, for now.
Oh boy. I don't know. I've never been called out on that before. Yeah, but this is a different platform called Meet Google.
Oh
Google
yeah.
Meet.
It's a high-tech platform right here.
That's right. So delay still?
No, it's not too bad now.
That's good.
A little muffled, but it's working.
Jeez.
You're okay. Let's roll with it. So usually the first question is about the beginning. And so that was middle school. And what did you do in high school? Did you build anything? And where did you get your training?
My training. That's a good one.
But wait, I should say with a caveat, just the ironic part is that I did not have shop class growing up. And that's the funny thing about this whole podcast. But
Right.
the idea is that we're sharing our stories of growth and where we learned all these things. And I know you have a alternative background to most. It's not like you're a musician. We should hear about that. And really, that's probably what got you out of the box. Like if GM is not competitive with Tesla because they're in the box and you're out of the box, and that's what the story we kind of want to hear. So, yeah. So what happened in high school?
So, yeah, not enough shop, I'll tell you that. But I pursued, a musical path. It was between, but the funny thing is, it was between. Still working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For me, going on to college was going to be a toss up between music or mechanical engineering. Because not that I built all that many things, but I was just drawn to the science, right? So when I got to the point to make a decision, I auditioned to 7 schools, and including one that I thought was completely out of reach. I got in that one, and that kind of made the decision for me. So my buddy, who's also into this, both fields, he went on to study mechanical engineering at Carnegie Mellon, and we kind of like lived through each other. Because we could have both gone either direction, but so I did all right with math and things like that, and I was attracted to this. I guess I'm a self-proclaimed scientist. I'm scientific by nature. I like to take things apart and study things just that's my baseline, right? But to do with cars, it was almost nothing. I changed the oil one time. It's pretty nasty. I was not a car guy because I didn't like the weight that comes with relying on foreign oil. And the environmental side, I was conscious of that back in high school, and that's hard to shake once you become aware and start thinking on that level. You can't just, it's hard to shake it off. I went to Germany for 1 year after high school.
Oh, really?
I still was I participated in school there as if it mattered, right? And they were very environmentally conscious there. It was a demographic of kids that were aiming for university-bound kids, if that made a difference. But I think the political will there is immense to do to be conscious of environmental impact, and I brought that with me when I came back home, and I was never the same. They just in Europe in general, they tend to mind their resources more. They're more finite than here, at least. You know, if you just look at the square miles of a European country versus this one, and I don't know if that's part of it or not, but on the maker side of things, in Germany, I indulged in making a bicycle during project week, and the club, the project I joined was to make a traditional bike, but a recumbent bicycle out of regular bicycle parts, right? And I ended up doing. I claimed I was ready to say, well, I didn't fully understand being foreign, so I just took the project and kind of turned it upside down. I did a tandem recumbent, one above the other.
What?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't think to send a picture of that. But,
Tandem recumbent?
Tandem recumbent. Oh, wait, hold on.
He probably has it. Oh my God.
I was talking to a guy this weekend. He said they have like bike rides, recumbent bikes, all the time down in the Jersey Shore.
See if that even
fundraisers.
There's a lot of glare on there.
What is that? Okay, you're gonna have to send that to me. Take a picture and text that to me or something.
So you see me on the bottom there with my hands in my lap?
Yeah.
That's worse than being in a bunk bed.
Yeah, so we made it so either guy could steer. The top guy could steer underseat steering, or the bottom guy could steer this way. It would work. But the main job of the bottom guy is to be the human kickstand when you slow down, so you don't topple over.
Oh man, I was not kidding. You are out of the box. I've never even had the thought of having. I've rode a tandem bike. They're actually a lot of fun. I've never had the idea of stacking it like a freaking apartment building.
Yeah, me and my buddies had one in high school.
My brothers both. They were 10 years older or more, and they both had built weird bikes growing up, and not quite that weird, but so I don't know. I grew up around daring and bold personalities, and my mother included. She was my first EV customer. She hired me to build electrify that Miata.
Oh,
and which became my first lithium build, second build overall.
Well, okay, before you get into that, let me pace this out just a little bit and give some context. First of all, Peter is going to explode, and he's such a good student. He actually has his hand raised. So, Peter, go ahead. What do you have for us?
Just wondering on how you did your center of gravity calculations for that thing, because you want to keep it low. How do you do another person's body mass above that without being tippled? Go ahead.
Keep the bigger one on bottom.
It's right. We are both pretty much the same physique, but my German brother and I we're in touch to this day. That was 20 years ago. Right, actually 30. You still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Look at that. Well, just to get this out, you would think that would be a problem, right? That design. But the thing about balance is the longer the radius from, whatever you want to call that, the radius from the ground, the more you're going to feel every little movement. And so it was, I don't know, like still, it's like I don't know. I just tend to have a decent sense of balance, but we've had several guys ride this and it worked out all right, riding a bike, it's just like riding a bike. Sorry to be weird.
Hey,
but
you could say it just worked. I did a chopper with Qasim. Do you remember Qasim?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we did a chopper, and that thing was raked so far.
All right. Hanging in the stairwell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, do you remember that?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. And it was so hard to ride, but we did it.
Right.
I'm going to pull up the photos. That was hilarious. Oh my
A
God.
vertical bike is like something out of Dr. Seuss. You would think, 'cause there's always those crazy, like, imagine if you did a three tier, that would definitely be Dr. Seuss.
Right? Don't tempt me. No, it's surprising. So when the bottom guy steers, the top guy's freaking out, right? Because he feels it before the bottom guy does. So it's not comfortable, but it still works. But that's what I was saying about the distance from the ground, right? The bottom guy is going to feel it eventually. But in the meantime, you're freaking out. It's like,
Well, it's no different than the old penny farthing large English bicycles.
I am in the market for a penny farthing, just in case everybody knows a good one.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, this was a crazy mod. There. Look how raked it is.
Yeah.
I think I have a video of us riding it. I don't know where it is.
The thing is, how much steering is really happening at that angle? Very little.
Very little, yeah. Very little.
How much flex in the fork tubes?
Actually, they're pretty robust. It was probably in the joint that had the flex, because these tubes are pretty good. But this situation, I mean, this is an old piece of garbage bike that I think I gave them.
Or it ends up tilting the wheel more than turning it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But most of your weight is above the back wheel, at least. So.
And if you got a little bit on the wheel, if you went more than just a little percentage, you would have to fight it to keep it straight. It was hard to keep it straight. Oh my God. It was like, you're like, like it was crazy,
You learned something.
Yeah. Do you know the follow-up? Do you keep in touch with Qasim at all?
It's been a couple of years, but I had a great chat with him. My last chat with him was pretty awesome. He was doing some very cool stuff on the West Coast, truck related, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's doing now.
So he's working at Proterra, and he designs the battery packs for buses.
And where are they located? Oregon?
San Francisco, but a new factory in North Carolina. So literally he flies to North Carolina weekly.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So he's been with them for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was with another company for a while, but they weren't doing much. So then he left. So this is it right here.
I'm going to take notes.
Oh yeah. And Proterra is a provider. They provide battery packs for other companies as well. Yeah, battery tech, drivetrains, entire buses. Here's the battery. Like a whole pack. You could buy the pack from them. So pretty cool. And he's more into manufacturing. He has to worry about scaling up. Oh my God, look at all those 18650s. Wow.
I did a post of Park City, Utah, when they were running electric buses. They were one of the few places, maybe the first resort town, to do that. And they had overhead, the arm that would come down, and then you could drive off because it was slotted.
Oh, okay.
When you pull up, it's retracted, and that was excellent. I did a Instagram post about it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll pull up the Instagram.
Do I? Is there a chat?
Yeah. Yeah, if you got a link you want to put in the chat, no problem. I could pull it up.
I mean, just for whenever. You don't have to use it now, or if you want to, whatever.
Yeah, no, send it. Send it. Absolutely send it. Yeah. Peter, up in Toronto, do they have electric buses? It's kind of cold up there. Yeah. Just unmute yourself.
Yes, we have the electric buses. Some towns are running testing them. Some have proven and running a fleet. That does happen here, and the cold temperatures is a concern, but so far it's working. They just don't put them on extreme inclines.
Gotcha. Cool.
It's cold in Park City.
Yeah, that's true. Probably depends on how long the route is and how long it takes them to get back to like the fleet management area, like where they could recharge or whatever. Now, before, seems like we'll probably jump into kind of like your first dabble. Sounds like your mom was your first client, which is awesome. My mom was my first welding client.
Oh, nice.
I had to sell her on the idea, and she actually, instead of her buying an art pedestal, I convinced her to pay for the material, and I would use the extra money that she was going to pay for some fancy pants art pedestal to buy a welder, and then I could practice and do the thing. So that was kind of, she took a chance. And
you were how old?
Actually, I learned welding later in life. It was probably about 25 years old, maybe 26. Yeah. And now I'm 46. So, yeah. And now I could finally afford my own welder. Whew, oh my God. Those are scary days back then. I couldn't even, I remember I bought the cheapest welder I could possibly find was this $100, believe it or not, it was Italian. It's called a Clarky. And it was this old welder. And I still have it in storage somewhere. It worked good. Do you have photos of that early Miata? You want to send me some photos or give me a link? Oh, you did the Dropbox, right?
I don't know. It's the YouTube channel has a few.
Okay.
I don't know if I included a link in that or not, in your Dropbox or not.
Yeah, send me a link to that, and yeah, tell us the story about that. What happened? How'd you get the car? How'd you get the idea? Give us all that.
Wait, which car are you thinking right now?
The first conversion is the Miata, am I right?
No, the Saab.
Oh, that was your first one. Oh, but your first client was your mom in the Miata.
That was number 2, yeah.
All right, let's go back to number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, let's go to the Saab.
So you got a way to share the stuff, or should I just?
I could do it.
We should have a visual.
I got you.
Not a visual.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up your. Let's see, conversion gallery and the Saab. Boom, that's a good visual. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, roll us down the road.
You should. Can you go to that link? Is your first drive in
in the Dropbox?
Yeah, in the Dropbox.
It'll take me a minute to pull up the Dropbox, but I can do it.
That'll be more maybe a better understanding of what I was dealing with, right? Because all I knew for sure is that I needed to get off oil. So every year for about 2 months, I'd hang up my keys and ride bike to work, which is 15 miles round trip. I had set like up to 7 instruments. So I would just leave all my instruments at work as a musician.
Wait, Brandon, you know what we got to do for context? Can you tell us a little about your music background? And
yeah, I was going to ask him earlier what his instrument was, but we kept rolling.
No, we gotta slow it all down. Talik, you're right. Talik, go ahead. Ask him. Oh, Talik's a musician. Talik, please ask him about the music.
Well, I mean, so what was your main instrument of focus, and do you play more than one instrument?
I grew up playing piano like everyone else in the family except my dad, who sang in church. So but piano is a great way to get familiar with music, as is guitar. Anything polyphonic and something visual where you can really get a feel for the theory and everything and make noise easily. But I also, like my brothers, picked up the saxophone because there was one laying around the house, and that became my instrument of choice, and the one I would end up pursuing, taking lessons on, and then auditioning for colleges on. And by the time I got through a 4-year degree at a music conservatory up north, Rochester, I was slowly getting interested in the other woodwinds. I went in for performance, but I came out with the ed degree because I got tendonitis, overuse syndrome. And somehow I worked through that. And when I got out of college, well, first of all, 95, spring of 95, I took off from college due to that injury. And I went to school at home, the local college where my folks met and worked at. And I took 11 credits of engineering, drafting, chemistry, just stuff leaning towards ME stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't take 12 because that makes you full time, I think, right? So I stayed part time. It was very, enjoyable, challenging, and all that. We did CAD was, and it was only a 2-credit class, but we covered hand drafting and what they call generic CAD, which I think is similar to AutoCAD. It was a version maybe that was a little more conducive to affording it or having, available for students in college. But so anyway, I got both sides of that, and I had an excellent teacher, which more important, So I got a great experience just out of the blue, taking a break from college, and when I came back, I didn't want to deal with having this injury, so I changed to music education. Went in for performance, came out as education.
Okay.
So, let's see. I ended up being a woodwinds player in the end, and did 20-some years playing theaters, a lot of musical theater, big band, orchestra, just every style really, funk, jazz, salsa bands, you name it. I did Celtic stuff. I did a very eclectic band. I toured on the road with an eclectic band. And the last 7.5 years, I've been playing with Chubby Checker, which is kind of the name people will recognize. Playing tenor for him.
What's that like, man?
It's a funny thing, man. I didn't see it coming, but it was a really good fit. I really enjoy that genre, and they had kind of turbocharged that sound. It doesn't sound just like the old records. The best way to describe it, I've heard, it makes me laugh, is imagine that music of that era, but played by the Ramones. So it's a little heavier, and we almost if there's another act, we almost always close. Like 96% of the time we close because that energy is so real. He's now 82. He can still do all the moves. 82 is not old to me anymore. But so that is a gig I've been keeping as I go more and more into EV full time. 5 years I've been absolutely full time, but I've been in the EVs for 15. So there was a 10-year period where I was just doing both music and EVs and had no, limited time outside of that.
Oh, so do you still tour with Chubby Checker?
I do. Yeah, I don't have a lot on my calendar right now, but we were averaging, 6 to 8 gigs a month. And for my schedule, it's perfect for that. We've gone a couple days at a time. And it was a nice little diversion. And, just of course playing with an icon like that, you can imagine, it's just, I was very honored to get in there and then stay in there for a good spell.
Pollock, what do you think, man?
I mean, that's pretty amazing. And I can definitely, I feel the similarities going on in my life with that, but yours is definitely much more high profile with an act like that. Have you thought about naming or doing a project related to Chubby?
Absolutely.
Like an EV project for.
Yeah. We have. It's come up a couple times. Of course, I want to do the tour bus because that's a stinky. But it's a beautiful Greyhound type bus that he bought from, I know it sounds made up, but Paul Abdul, and he bought it from her in the late 80s, I think. And so it's got kind of that decor, which the mirror and teal and stuff like that. And it's hysterical. It's the best way to travel outside of the footprint. It is by far the most comfortable way to be on the road. But we talked about Tesla. He got an opportunity to drive a ludicrous Model S back in the day. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Is that it?
He's good. You're good.
I'm working hard, baby. It's my podcast. Let's do this.
That's right.
We're talking about Chubby Checker on the Shop Class podcast.
I want to record him so bad because when he talks about Tesla, his eyes light up and he say something like, "Just hit the pedal," and it goes like, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm like, he's making this sound with his mouth, you know. And he so for a while I was certain he was going to buy one, you know. But we've talked about conversion as well. Anyway.
Well, you got the right people. You got Qasim, who made, Proterra battery packs. You got Chubby Checker, needs a tour bus, and then you got you. You got to coordinate, man. You got to. I'm sure it won't be too big a project. How many batteries do you think you need to push a bus that size, man?
Such a beast.
Oh my God. It'll be like, I mean, in reality, it'll probably be like, I don't know, what, six Tesla packs, maybe? I don't know. What do you think, Talik?
Probably. I mean, it'd probably be very similar to what the semi needs. In fact, it'd probably be less than what the semi needs because the semi is towing 80,000 pounds, or well, the whole thing's 80,000 gross. So it's probably maybe 2/3 of what a Tesla semi would have, which I can't remember the figures at the moment, but it's probably at least 3 or 4 Model S packs.
How many kilowatts is a Tesla semi truck?
I think it's 9. I think it's 900 kilowatt hour. It's just shy of, I think it's shy of a megawatt hour. There's a whole Jay Leno video on it. But because that's going to be towing a lot more than a tour bus.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with like maybe 300 or 400, maybe 500, just so you have some or some range.
I want to say 30,000 pounds, but I might be making that up. I wasn't prepared for that question.
So you could probably do a good tour bus with 400 or 500 kilowatt hours. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Barber check. What do you think, man? We'll get the tour bus going up to the UP. You got any chargers up there, man?
Yeah, we got some Tesla chargers at the Meijer.
Oh, really? What's the Meijer?
Like Meijer Groceries. It's like a grocery chain.
Oh. Okay.
It's in Marquette. It's in our big city, But I think you can make it across the UP in an electric car. I think was it here that they did like the tallest elevation climb for an electric vehicle? And the reason being is because we have one of the deepest pit mines in the world, as well as one of the tallest like tail-end mines in the world. So I think for like an incline challenge, they to prove a point, they took it from as low as they could go to as high. And but other than that, I'm kind of very, very distant from this from the genre of interest. Not due to lack of interest, just but that's about all I know about electric cars.
What's interesting is I've heard some stories about mining with electric, big trucks. And what they do is they climb. They don't need a charger. They need no electricity at all, because they go up, load up the truck, and then regen down, which charges them 100%. Use the truck to go up, put all the material in the truck, go down the hill again, and they're up. And now because they have more weight on the down. So
yeah, those trucks are freaking huge. I mean, I think they use like a diesel electric. Oh, sorry, my furnace is going off. Timeline. Diesel electric driveline.
Like a train.
Yeah, like a locomotive. Yeah. How you doing, Nick? Nick's joining the show. I haven't seen him in a while. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. He cut off all his hair. Are you joining the military?
No, just trimming.
Basic training.
So
Cool. Brandon, if you don't know, Nick is a shop teacher, high school shop teacher in the Catskills of New York. He's also a fireman.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So we got a good round table of people here tonight. So we covered the music part. Nick, you missed it. Brandon converts cars, but he's his main gig for a long time was and it still is a professional musician, but he toured with Chubby Checker. And the guy's still around. How old is he now?
He's 82. Yeah.
I wanted to see Chuck Berry, and I think he was like 85 maybe when he passed. And
we almost saw him. We almost paid him a visit, but he just wasn't doing well enough to take a visitor, and he was gone within a few months after that. Chubby's got a couple of cool friends, as you can imagine.
Yeah, he was actually still not touring, but he would play once a month in St. Louis, his hometown, I think. Even though Chicago is probably where he recorded all his stuff and blew up in 1955. But yeah. Hey, does Chubby Checker ever talk about Chess Records at all?
Chess Records? Is that some kind of play on his name?
No, this was
only.
So the whole, not to get off topic, but the Chuck Berry situation is that, there was a guy named Leonard Chess, and he created a recording studio in the heart of Chicago, rhythm and blues, and a time when they didn't play that stuff on the radio. And he recorded all these black artists, and he put together a lot of these albums, and he paid the radio station to release the album. So he broke the color line with Chuck Berry, but he paid to do it, and it worked out really well for everyone. But that was Chicago. Does he ever? I wonder if he ever talks about Chess Records. I don't know.
I'll ask him, because I'm curious. But and I'm just, now you're triggering my memory, Ron. I remember now you play guitar, right?
Oh yeah, I jam. Yeah, I keep the guitar here, and I bought a drum set, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I jam. It's a thing.
All right. So now I got to give you a Zoom lesson.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be awesome. Dude, I'll take it. Yeah, that'd be great. And also the wood shop teacher. We got a new wood shop teacher working next door here, and he tours. He plays, just kind of like bar gigs and whatnot. But he's great, man. He does classic blues and rock and roll, and dude, he rips, man. So it's great having all these musicians around. I mean, it's just so creative,
Yeah.
Did we ever jam? We never jammed. We should have jammed over at Bergen,
Yeah, those are cool days, man. Are we gonna talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. So, but we got to talk about your first conversion. I have everything ready now.
Oh yeah, the first drive I thought would be fun. My dad's in the background, just like watching for traffic. It's so crazy.
Okay, so which one? This one?
There's some stills too, but there should be a link.
Okay, let me direct me a little bit.
It's in the text file.
Text file. Where's that?
I don't know. Retros, first conversion, old shots. Old shots? No.
First conversion?
Send you a text file somewhere.
Text file. One stop shop. Sterling engines? No, that's something else. Okay.
What's first conversion?
Let's see. This stuff.
Oh, geez.
Your Saab.
How strange.
Well, you could still drop it in there. So what is this? You want to give us a little kind of like, what'd you do here?
So I was saying how I hung up my keys to my car twice, 2 months out of the year when ride bike to work.
Yep.
And then that would eventually be, leading me towards some alternatives to gas, right? And I got familiar with Who Killed the Electric Car.
Oh yeah, we just talked about that the other day.
Life changer, game changer for me. And then not long after I saw that, because I was, that the movie did exactly what it set out to. It got people informed and agitated, and I was pretty charmed by those cars. So I went online and found Gavin Shoebridge, and freaking with the magic of the internet, I'm watching 20 or 40 videos that a random dude did in New Zealand, where he converted a very nondescript Mitsubishi-looking vehicle, Tredia, which we don't even have, but but he was just an everyday Joe. He was taking people through it. He was entertaining, interesting, and showing how his mistakes along the way, which is people, the instinct is to edit out mistakes, but he would show just the whole dirty process of learning to do something completely out of his comfort zone. And
yeah, you're like not a trained mechanic, and yet you're converting the car over. That's a great point to make. I think I have the book that got me started. Yeah, keep going. Totally, the YouTube channel you found?
It was his own blog, I guess people used to call it. I was so entranced, I watched every video in one sitting. I had to drink it up because I was becoming empowered. I knew just enough to be dangerous, and I'm pretty driven when I decide I want to do something. So,
nice.
And to watch, then I found a lot of other people who did it, and half of which had no reason to think they could do it.
Was this?
That I have that book. Wait, no, but I have Converted. What's that one?
Oh, Converted's a good book too. That was written by a guy who was like a mechanic, so it was very practical.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. That's a great book, even though it's totally outdated now, but I still would recommend it.
I think it's still valid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got empowered, and I guess aware and empowered. And the next thing you know, I was looking for a donor vehicle because I had a good gig, had a good steady music gig. I had a house. I bought a house and had a 2-car garage in a city, which is unusual. So I had the space, the time, and a little bit of cash. So it was the perfect storm for a musician to be able to do this. Is kind of unusual, I guess. But back then, you could get on the road with lead acid, and we still can. But that was the only choice.
Right.
And if you bought new lead acid batteries, new everything except the car, you're still only spending $10,000. And over the course of 6 months or whatever, it took me about 6 months. 6 months of research, 3 months of building. Because I had I was off from work 2 months a year. So I just dove in. I was trying to go back to work in a car I built. That was the goal.
Oh, that's cool.
And so anyway, if you saw those images, there was a white car and a gray car. I bought both. One was a rust bucket locally. It turned me onto the model, which nobody my age would have ever heard of. It was in my Saab Mechanics boneyard, and that led me to looking online for more healthy. There you go. There's the white one. The white one came from the deserts of Nevada.
Oh, good. No rust.
Full of sand, but no rust. Yeah. So ended up using the two to make one decent vehicle.
Oh, I see. The plus, the white one, plus the gray one.
The 68 and the 70.
Got it. Wait, why did you choose a Saab?
Well, I was trying to satisfy the requirements. Number one, aerodynamic. 2, lightweight. 3, Easy to find parts. Well, so I got 2 of the 3.
Okay.
Manual shifting, had to be manual shifting.
Yeah.
And so it was 3 out of the 4 things. And would you believe I found a guy online that did the same car? So I was very reluctant. I was very cautious going into this. I was already taking enough risks that I wasn't interested in being different. I just wanted to succeed. So I took as much information as I could, and with the lead acid setup, it was very much like my friend I met in Schenectady, New York, who did one, an architect. And that's me and my brother pulling the engine out with a block and tackle, just because I wanted to try that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can see it, right? You can't see the pulley.
Off the rafters. I get it.
It seemed like such a good idea.
Does he weigh more than the engine?
Yeah, but the block and tackle, you shouldn't have to be.
Oh, yeah.
But he was still hurting to pull that out.
That's so funny. Yeah, the first time you pull an engine's kind of fun, you know? It's like a big rite of passage, you know?
It's funny just I happen to have like a little bit of footage from that day.
Wow. I know Peter's probably pulled 1,000 engines. Peter, what was the first engine you pulled?
1957 station wagon, Ford. And we exchanged that. It was a donor car sedan out of that, and then put the engine into the station wagon. It was good. And I would be 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
Tripod.
There's a meme or something that goes, I've been welding for 40 years. How old are you? I'm 42. The other guy's like, I welded on the Titanic. Oh, really? You welded the Titanic? Yeah, but that shit sank. So
nice.
Anyway.
By the way, we destroyed the transmission mount, which is it's a central mount on the very tip. That's because it's a transaxle. Front wheel drive. That's a front wheel drive car.
That's the weird thing about the Saab is that you have the engines facing forward, and it's almost like a Porsche engine in the front of your car with the engine forward. Am I right?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. For me, that was normal, you know. So I didn't know. I didn't know they were different. But we kept pulling on it, you know, and it was moving a lot because it was on a rubber mount, and we didn't know it was on a rubber mount, so we just kept pulling harder, and just, you know, eventually we were able to destroy that mount. But you know, 2020 hindsight, we didn't know better.
That's funny, man. So you pull the engine on this thing, and then you kept the transmission, right?
Absolutely, yeah, just like everyone else. And that made the mechanical side, since I went with a kit from Bob Batson and EV America, who I call my mentor. He was all about customer service and support, right? And believe me, I needed it. So it was all, like I said, it was already a crazy enough idea to do this, but just I wouldn't have gone about it by myself. So with my little business now, that's exactly the same model we go by, is to empower people to try it if we really think they're going to succeed, and then support them the whole way through the process as needed. So they won't be allowed.
I will say that having a supplier that you can then call about all the stuff that's going on is a big deal. Like you really can't do this on your own because you're going to be on the phone, you know, diagnosing, solving problems. You really need someone there. So that's actually pretty cool that you experience that, and now you're providing that. Is that part of if they buy the package from you?
Absolutely, that's included. But the caveat is they got to read the manual. They got to meet us halfway, and you know, what is it, RTFM? You know, so you have to do your homework, you know, and then we'll fill in the blanks, you know, help you fill in the blanks and problem solve. when it's needed, you know?
Right. Gotcha. And is this Saab still on the road?
Well, it's got, and it has had for a long time, it's had just under 100,000 electric miles on it. I drove that thing everywhere. I didn't touch a bike for 10 years, which is really weird for me. But I just wanted it out there. I wanted people to see it and ask questions. You know, basically I used a beautiful, weird-looking vehicle to trick people to talk to me. And then and I didn't plaster it too much with electric. I for a little while it was really big, but mostly it's understated on the decals, if there are any. And the goal was to prove that it was viable and to, you know, increase awareness that there are better ways to get around. There's the Miata. My dad's speaking to about his vehicle at Penn State. We participated a couple of years in the Penn State thing. The year I took the Saab up, we ran around this track, a mile-long track. I think I ironically 96 times, and it's a Saab 96. So I did 96 miles on a lead-acid path, but with the most ideal conditions, right? No stop-start.
You have a video for that, right? Was that with the fat man in Michigan?
No. This is Penn State.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking of that's the EV. That's EVCon. You're thinking of.
Okay. Story's confused, but let's
but,
do
a lead-acid vehicle would never do 96 or 100 miles. But if you're doing 35 mile an hour, you know, and that's, you're not really pushing a lot of air at that speed.
So to put this in context, to be fair to people listening, you know, it would back in the day, what you're talking about is sort of proving a point, but it wasn't performance yet.
Oh, well, when I did my lithium version, I converted that to lithium then.
Okay.
And that might be what you're thinking of. I don't know how you would have seen that footage, but I did a quarter mile in Missouri with Jack Rickard and EVTV and EVCon, at which I did, 17 seconds. So on the surface, that sucks, right? But I had no clutch. So I had to start. I started in second gear and just rammed it into third gear like there was no tomorrow. And I kept spinning out. Besides all that, I was spinning out like crazy with a DC motor and 58 Calb 180s. So I had a 200, roughly, 180, 190 volt lithium car that weighed, very little, and a DC motor on a front axle. So the thing was, and a lot of the weight was in the back. So
what was the name of that event?
EVCon.
EVCon?
Electric Vehicle Conversion Convention.
Okay. I'm going to try and find
the most lithium cars you would ever see in one place on the planet, I would guess. Because you couldn't get in for free unless you were bringing an electric car.
What year was that?
What's that?
What year?
2010, 2011.
What year can we see you?
2010, 2011. I don't know if you're going to find it.
I got something. I got something here. You want to tell us about Jack Rickard?
Yeah. I mean, how many people have heard of EVTV?
Nobody.
Oh man, I used to watch that back. We kind of.
Alec.
He popped up last night when we were talking with Jehu about on his older videos, and apparently, I think Jehu talked to Jack once, and then Jack kind of, but yeah, I remember watching some of his stuff because early on there was only so many YouTubers with any source of information.
No, I met Jehu at that convention.
Oh wow!
Briefly, it was brief, but I remember he was a genius with the video camera back then too, and he got an award for his videos from Jack.
Wow.
So I don't know. Listen, like Jack appreciated Jehu, as far as I know.
There was some riff that I heard about, but it doesn't matter.
Well, listen, when it comes to Jack, I would believe any story because he was a very dynamic and very very loving and nice person, teddy bear, and also was pretty snarky too. So he was everything. He was a challenging guy in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, and
good ways and bad ways.
Do you recognize these cars? Was this the one you were at?
I raced against. I did races against TR. What was it called? Oh, shoot.
TR7 or TR6 probably, or 7.
Oh man, when I see it, I'll remember. It was red, and it was not the Dodge.
Okay.
It was not that.
Those who don't know, Jack Rickard was kind of the hub of electric vehicle conversion. He had a show early on YouTube, and he would have these events where people would come, and he put up prize money, big prize money, and
he had one prize that I know. Build Your Dream EV contest.
And didn't you win a prize from him?
Like I say, I'd made up my mind I was going to win that, and I did. I won 20 grand worth of stuff.
Wow!
And that's the only time I think that he ever did that.
And
so that stuff went into the taxi. You saw the taxi earlier, the British taxi cab.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I just want to let everybody know that Jack Rickard unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But he really was significant. Even Michael Bream acknowledged that he was a really big player in bringing all this excitement to the electric vehicle conversion.
I met Michael Bream at the convention as well, and Matt Hauber, and you saw in that video maybe Matt Wayne Alexander was in that movie. Who's done hundreds of conversions. You must know this, Ron. In Kansas.
What, Matt? Oh, I think I know who that.
Wichita, Kansas. He just sold it, but Electric Blue he called it. But there's a lot of very famous people in these videos.
Did you ever meet Gadget?
Oh, it's Reverend Gadget.
Yeah.
Oh, I just was talking to David Kirksell 2 hours ago. That was his light up charge inlet, and he spoke at this. David Kirksell.
Oh,
with modular EV.
Oh, this supplier in this video. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so we had Gadget on last week.
No way.
Yeah, he was amazing. We'll have him on again. What?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But we'll have him on the EV Tuesday nights instead of the Wednesday was his shop class podcast, and the focus is on sharing ideas with shop teachers and talking with industry pros, which we consider you one of them, and it's an honor to have you. But it's going forward with EV stuff. We're going to be on Tuesdays. But I had Gadget on Wednesday, and you're on Wednesday. It was back to back. Just happened to be.
And you think he'll be back on Tuesdays in general?
Yeah, we'll get him back for 100%.
Oh, cool. And by the way, I love that Opel.
Oh, the Opel's cool. Yeah, that's a weird car. It's like a small Corvette from Europe that's a GM product, but it's a Opel.
That's the red car I beat twice.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? When I was spinning out, just doing a couple runs, George Hamster walked up to me. He's like, "What do you have in there?" It was great. You know George Hamster?
No, wait, who is that?
The founder of Neck Gain Motors.
Oh my God, no kidding, really?
I had to tell him that I had a advanced DC motor, and I could, I didn't have a Warp 9.
So Neck Gain, I met Hunter recently, and I think that's his son.
We were talking about you yesterday, Ron. You stopped by. You drove through there.
Oh, really?
You did, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I stopped by. I got to meet him. I did some burnouts. I didn't even publish the videos yet. We took out one of his off-road vehicles. Anybody who's into motorcycles and off-road stuff, dude, oh my God. It was like crazy fast off-road quad side by side.
Hunter's a blast. We got to hang out at SEMA this year. My first time at SEMA.
Yeah, we're jumping around. My God, my head's gonna explode. You were at SEMA, but before we get to that, okay, let's finish the Saab, and then we got to get to your first client. Let's talk about the Miata. What do you think?
That was a fun one. Do you want to put up? So the Miata I did for my parents it was going to be what is that, TD6 or something? Oh, that's a Porsche.
Oh yeah, that was Porsche.
Well, sorry, I can't remember the name of the car.
While we're getting the footage ready, let me just ask the crowd. We'll go around the room. And what you could do is, Brandon, if you got a chance, send me all the photos or video that you want me to put up about your Miata.
Go ahead.
And while you're doing that, let me ask the crowd, if you had a car that you wanted to convert, what would it be? So let's go to Barbercheck. Barbercheck, are you still there? See if he's there. All right, he might be listening in the background. He's got a baby, so there's a lot going on. But Peter, if you were going to convert a car, what would it be?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. I would like to do a Porsche. That would be good. I mean, they're strong as they are as a combustion engine, but put an electric engine in, it's great.
That's a good candidate. Yeah, here's a Porsche right here. Those are good candidates because they're kind of like super lightweight and high performance. There's another Porsche. Talik, what would you do if you're going to convert something?
Well, I'd like to have a Subaru Brat, or if possible, the Baja.
Oh, dude. Okay, that might be a thing because my friend Mike Haynes, who you got to meet, he's in California right now, actually. He has a Subaru Brat, and I got a buddy who has like a yard filled with Brats. It's like Brat Mecca. It's look at young Braden.
I was gonna say, so if it's a yard full of Brats, are they cars or are they?
Oh no. Oh jeez.
I thought you were talking about my classroom.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
No, the actual cars. The actual cars. Oh, there's your car, Brandon. In the video.
I was getting 120 highway miles.
That's pretty good. You're pushing wind. It's
Dude,
moving.
120 highway miles in 2011. That's unheard of, except for Tesla.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually pretty good.
That was a nice lightweight car and aerodynamic. Just like it was,
Wait, look how serious this is. What is this classroom you guys are in? What is it? What are you doing here?
We were listening to the speakers.
Oh, he like rented a hall or something?
Oh, he had an airport. Yeah.
He owned the airport?
No, at an airport. Sorry.
Oh, like a hangar?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What was his big, like, he's like a publisher. He had like a bunch of magazines or something.
Yeah. His knowledge was in computers and Boardwatch magazine. He published Boardwatch magazine, maybe.
What is it?
Board, like circuit board.
Oh, okay. Was that Bream over there on the left?
Sorry?
Is that Michael Bream in the corner there?
Oh yeah, they were all there.
This is like the who's who of electric cars right here.
Yeah, this is.
Dude, this right here is Bream? That's crazy.
And that's probably Harvard. That's Stealth beside him.
Yeah, Matt. All right.
Matt co-founded EV West.
Oh my God, that's crazy. This is like early days right here. Wow. I didn't even know about this till later. I found out all this. I missed this entire event. I had no idea. Even though I was doing the electric car stuff, I don't know. I learned all my stuff from San Diego people. So I didn't know there was this. And where was this? In Michigan?
Missouri.
Missouri. Oh my God. That's amazing. Look at those advanced DC motors. These are all big DCs. They're basically like big starter motors.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sorry, I'm like tripping out on this whole thing. All right, let's get to your Miata because we're gonna run out of time here. Geez, you might have to come back.
Do you see the link I sent?
Yes, I'm gonna pull that up right now. Oh, this is perfect.
It's just can I tell you about it before?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna wait right there.
Just for the record, my mom promised that she would race it at Penn State if I built this car. And not that I wouldn't have built it anyway, but she was, I don't know, 74 at the time. And she was anything but mechanical or interested in racing. But she promised, and I held her to it, and they stuck a helmet on her. And she did the autocross in the electric Miata.
Your mom in the helmet?
At Penn State. And she got last place. And then I couldn't help it. I was like, you got to let me drive that. That's like the quintessential autocross car, right? And it had 36 Voltronics, which is, like the Calbs, and an AC50 in it. And it was a great think it was nice and lightweight. It was 200 pounds overweight, like nothing. And just watch when they wave the flag, and just her start is whatever the opposite of Jackrabbit is.
This is amazing.
This is funny. She's talking to the organizer of the whole thing, Joel Anstrom, and he's like, drive it like this is like you stole it, drive it like you've never driven it before. And she's like, I haven't ever driven it before.
There you go. Wow, check this out. I had no idea.
The music helps.
Oh, okay.
It is absolutely me.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just leave the music out.
That's her start right there.
This is terrible.
That's her. Number 8.
Oh my God.
8 out of 8.
I never thought I'd be watching your mom go racing on the shop.
I told Alan a bunch of counts to put in there. EBS 10. That's just a stock Leaf. He got number 3. And hello.
All right.
We got first and last place with the same car.
You redeemed yourself.
I had never done autocross, and it was so much fun.
And you're using prismatic lithium iron phosphate cells, and
maxed out the voltage for an AC50. And an AC50, by the way, was brand new back then.
This is it. This is the episode with Gadget just popped up on the feed.
Oh, nice. This is your episode.
Yeah, this is it. I have people help me publish. They must have published it right in the middle of the night, and I didn't realize they did it. So they got the whole story here. I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool. All right, we got the Miata. Let's go back to Barber Check for a second. What do you think, man? You want to? What car would you convert?
The 91 Toyota pickup I got sitting in my driveway that is underutilized.
Is it front or rear wheel? I mean, is it all or rear wheel?
It's all.
Okay.
Well, 4-wheel, I can turn it on or off.
Nice. And that would be a pretty cool one. But
yeah.
Barber Check, his specialty is building saunas, and he needs an electric sauna because he lives in an area that's like, I mean, it's like he lives in like Russia, basically. Like,
yeah,
it's cold.
I could put
He's
one on the
probably
truck.
higher up
on the electric
Are you
truck.
higher up in Toronto?
Yeah, he's
I think so.
farther north, much farther north, and he's still south of Canada, mind you. He's actually surrounded by Canada. He's got a bit of Canada to the east and a Canada to the north.
There's like I live 80% more north. I live more north than 80% of Canadians.
Are you in the Great White North, eh?
The
I
UP of Michigan, like on the shores of Lake Superior.
Cool.
But it's just weird, yeah. And that says something about the population density of Canada being so southern relative to Canada, as well as like mentally, we don't view the north part of Michigan as being more north than that big of a chunk of Canada. So
That's wild.
Didn't know that.
But
I'm gonna pull up your sauna in a sec.
but I was curious. So I don't brush ours with the EV community often. You know, it's a casual interest of mine, mainly like contagion of hanging out with Ron. But like one guy that did caught my eye, he was doing diesel electric semi trucks in Canada.
Oh, Edison.
Edison. Okay, so you guys follow Edison?
Oh, everyone's on top of it. But yeah, it'd be
Okay.
cool to know what Brandon thinks.
No, I'm a bit of an electric snob, but I make an exception for vehicles of that size.
Gotcha. I didn't. Yeah. His story has come across my TikTok, and I heard he was putting out a pickup model kit even for a diesel electric drivetrain. So I don't know what that changes about the size judgment goes, but I'm curious.
Yep. Have you seen this, Brandon?
What, Edison?
Yeah, the Edison motor.
I was saying I make an exception because that's an insane task, and I love how dedicated they are, because I remember when they started, and I thought, well, this, you know, and 10 years later they're still doing it.
Yeah,
I think that's what hooked me more than the electric vehicle interest. Was I caught onto his story early on TikTok, and he just kind of had a way about him that piqued the curiosity. You know, how is he going to grow and develop this and continue to scale up? And yeah, so I found him very intriguing from a like growth perspective and being able to watch it pretty real time.
Yeah. I want to do light, medium duty trucks. I want to specialize in that, because every one of those is like taking 2 cars off the road.
Yeah, there's
carbon wise.
Gotcha.
Interesting. I hate that the small truck market is like toast.
Yeah,
it's underserved.
Well, I think underserved, or like it's harder to find an S10 or a Toyota pickup or a Ranger, like of the 90s size, you know.
My daily right now is at 86 or 89. I always forget. S15, so the GMC version.
Yeah,
that's my daily.
That's a sweet ride. Like to replace that would be very challenging, even if you were to buy a newer one, especially if you were to buy a newer one.
Well, this is a good segue. So, you know, in the interest of time, this is such a good episode, but it's in the interest of time. Let's jump over to the modern situation that you got going on. So you're converting, you said light duty trucks. Let's talk about it. And I think you got a Tesla motor in there and some solutions for people that they can purchase and stick into like a small transit truck, right?
So it's not a kit to be sold yet, but it's my long-term investment. It's for a client, but you know who's really eating the labor. It ain't him, because it went a lot deeper and a lot better than I ever dreamt it would be, because we went to a pretty deep level with using Tesla battery unopened, the Tesla motor turned sideways, but turning the stock rear, right? I have an adapter for that. You saw some of that, right?
Yeah, let's get into it. So, first of all, let's talk about the truck, and I have a video I can show, and then you can kind of give us the overview.
I should have had a bunch of links ready to go.
No, I got it. We're good. How's that?
Oh, there you go. That's something. Yeah. Well, that gives you an idea. Yeah. So not only is it what you see there, but we've also come up with the battery controller. So I know there are controllers out there for the Model 3 battery, but not the Model S per se for automotive. Rickard was messing around with solar, and it was far from automotive. It wasn't really reliable. But ours is a lot more reliable. We can use, and we're putting, in this case, you're looking now, we're putting the battery in a car, in the floor of a car, which is never going to happen, right? Without some insane surgery. But anyway, the bulk of our last few years was hacking that battery, BMS, with our own controller, having a second controller to interface that let the battery BMS, Tesla BMS, govern the Tesla motor without the MCU or anything, just our stuff. So it's bare bones. You don't have to have anything else but Teslas and figure out and just, I've seen people bring over the whole harness and hide the MCU somewhere, and that is not what we're about, right? We want to do it cleaner. So we're able to let the battery, the BMSs from Tesla's BMS, govern the motor completely. So if it's too cold, turn off the regen or turn the regen down.
Oh,
right. If you're at 90%, it knows that, right? So just like you get into your Y, Ron,
yeah,
it's fully charged, you take your foot off the go pedal and it doesn't slow down.
I keep the brakes on to simulate that, to keep the driving experience smooth.
So what year is yours?
A year old. It's I bought it January last year.
So how does I have mine's two? I bought a 2-year-old one this year.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I only know you have a Y because Hunter told me, and
it's great.
So I already knew this too. Is like, so say you have to turn the regen off. You have to, at several times, several different instances. That's got to be turned down or turned off.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will damage that battery. So what do? If you have electric brakes, like the iBoost, you can program that in, and it's to feel like regen.
Well,
and you're saying your Y does that?
Yeah. So let me give some context of what you're talking about, and I bet you Talik could probably explain this even better. Talik, you want to explain this? You know what I'm talking about?
I was ready to go. I was like, okay.
All right, go for it.
So,
Talik, take this, man.
There's a software mode in the update.
No, but why? Why is this a problem? Like, why? Start with that.
Why not having regen is a problem, or
no,
why
do you need to compensate for the regen when the battery pack is cold with electric brakes?
Well, so with a battery, when it's full, there's nowhere to put the regenerated energy, so it just goes, nope, I'm full, and it doesn't stop the car. The motor can't accept the energy, and so what Tesla has done with recent software updates, I think about a year ago or so, maybe more, they added a feature where you can choose if you want your car to always feel the same when you lift off the accelerator pedal. They will blend in the physical brakes when your battery's too full to accept regen, so that you as the driver always experience the same quote regen feel lifting off the pedal. And this is sort of like a reverse thing of, like, a lot of people when they start driving electric vehicles, they're like, oh man, I hate that regen feeling when I lift off the pedal. I want it to feel like an automatic transmission where it keeps coasting. So this is sort of providing the experience of the people who are used to regen, but then they charge their cars to full. So they have this physical thing, which is going to wear out your brake pads more, but only the few times you charge to 100.
Or it's frozen.
Yeah, or it's cold, right? So like the first time this happened, my regen was turned off because it was either too full or too cold, that I can't remember. And then when you go to take your foot off the accelerator, you're expecting that regen pullback, which feels like engine braking if you drive a stick shift. So like Duke drives a Harley, I'm sure he feels the engine braking when he goes down a hill or he downshift. It's basically like downshifting. But sometimes the downshift is not there. The regen's not there. So it just coasts. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going too fast. You grab the brake. So they have this option, you click, and it will simulate the regen when you can't regen because the pack's either full or too cold. Yeah. So you have this on a custom car now. Is that what you're saying, Brandon?
I don't dial in the physical braking yet because that's kind of recent. But I'm very intrigued by it, and I think it's genius because the first time you don't have that regen and you just become accustomed to it, that's not cool. No. That's actually it feels broken.
Yeah, it feels scary.
So it makes perfect sense that they've, and relatively recently had this electric braking set up. So it's like it was the perfect storm. It's all ready to go. They just need to dial it in with software,
Yeah, that's super cool. But more importantly, and in the interest of time, I want to shift gears, so to speak. And I want to get into your product development because we talked about kind of your personal history. We've talked about your music background and then your conversion background and all the people you've interacted with. And I thank you all for that. And we do have to talk about our time together as teachers and that project. But I want to skip ahead to something pretty exciting. And I really have a high level of respect for you. And I've been meaning to talk to you about this. And I think that BarberCheck would be interested in this. And anybody who's developing a product would be interested in your story. So you have several products that you don't buy from someone else that you are the designer and the maker of. So you have your battery pack solution, and you also have your Tesla configuration solution. Do you want to talk to us about the battery pack first?
Yeah. Do you have a visual?
Yeah. I'll pull it up. It's in your store, right?
Yeah. There's a video too, I thought, but
okay, perfect.
The store's fine. The store's fine too.
Yep.
There's video in the store too. So
okay.
But which one are you doing? Battery. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I guess we have two products that are out and available, and then a third that is patented because I just was convinced that it just turned out really well, and I was convinced that it was a good idea. So I went the extra mile and made the effort to patent them too. This one's a modular battery box solution, and you can build any size, anytime. But all three, and then the third one is our battery controller, which may or may not make it into the public to buy. It's probably. It could go either way at this point. We could just use it in our own conversions, or we might make it available.
Now, let's
everything we've done without a necessity for our own conversions first. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, let's get down to the bare kind of the problem is, even though you're talking to me who knows why you made this pack, the battery pack modular, but what is the reason that you created this idea? Why would you need this modular battery pack?
That's where I was going. Is that
okay.
We did? No, it's cool. No, it's a great question. It's the right question. Okay. And I was saying all three of these products we did out of necessity that we needed it. Right? We weren't let's find something to draw people to the store or something. Is because we needed a solution for battery boxes, and it's not when you're doing conversions for yourself and others. And the last thing I wanted to do was build from scratch every time. The thing about battery boxes is I guess technically for Tesla batteries, there's 16 different sizes you can want. One size to hold 1 or one size to hold 16, which I've seen. You lay it down and now they're stacked like this way. And that could fit under, a bench seat and still make sense. I sold a 10 box, but the point is, you don't want to start from scratch every time or stock all these boxes and hope people buy this many 2s or this many 3s, 3 size. So
let me interrupt you for just a sec. What he's talking about is when you get a Tesla pack, which is where you might be getting your batteries from, they come as these modules, and you could have a 4-pack, a 5-pack, a 6-pack. You could have more. It all depends on your voltage and the size you're going for. And so when you're building these boxes to hold this in your car, you're starting from scratch each time. So it's actually a really good solution that he's talking about.
yeah,
Is that a good way to describe it?
yeah. Yeah, you're a great educator, dude. I've always respected that a lot, and not only your enthusiasm, but you don't let yourself get ahead of yourself like I do all the time. And I think they know what I'm talking about, and the truth is, this is a broader audience than I probably realized. And I appreciate that you take the time to, say what I'm not saying.
No, it's all good. I totally get it because. What keeps me trained in that area is that I deal with high school kids daily, so they don't know what I'm talking about, so I have to explain everything,
And I'm an excitable person, so I just get carried away too.
Yeah, but here, this is like a good example. This is one of 16 modules that are in a Tesla, and when you harvest this out of a Tesla, now you have to put it back into some sort of custom box. And what Brandon's done is come up with like a solution for that, So there you go.
I'm trying to find something for you. Here's, oh yeah. So yeah, keep going, and you see the one that's animated. It's like it's almost like a GIF.
Yep. This one.
Yeah. So that it's showing all the different sizes the removable panels. So the nice thing is, and people have used this before, they buy a 2 and a 5 for me. And once they get them, or they want to try a different vehicle or a completely different idea, they can make a 3 and a 4 out of the 2 and the 5, or a 1 and a 6 out of the 2 and a 5. And any combination of 2 boxes, because they have that modularity.
And what about when you came up with this, did you use, just on a practical level, did you use SolidWorks? Did you design this? Is this CNC cut at your facility? Do you send it out? But you don't have to give any secrets that you don't want to talk about. We're just curious because it's product development.
One of the best things, I love meeting people, cars, building weird cars like 15 years ago, you can imagine, right? I mean, you don't have to imagine. We were building cars at the exact same time. I love it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh wait, right?
Oh yeah.
So we were weirdos, super weirdos.
Totally. Everybody thought I was crazy doing this.
We had a clue what we were doing or why we would do it, right?
Yeah.
And so there's that side of it, of meeting people, and it's very fun for me. I enjoy that. I get energized off that. But then there's the other side of trying to take on something I don't have enough understanding about, and just dealing with the hurdles that come with that. And so I made friends with local talent, and one after the other, just till I could get this task accomplished. And so, yeah, my designer, I call him my designer. He's a friend, and he's one of our partners, one of our vendors, and he helped me get this thing fleshed out. I drew a lot of sketches. He came up with some cool ideas, enough cool ideas that I put his name on the patent, just as like a thank you. And
you have a patent for this?
Yeah, both this and the adapter.
Oh my God, I got a patent question. I got the most obvious patent question ever. Is it worth it?
Yeah, there's no way to possibly know that because you don't know who wanted to copy of what didn't. But
damn it, you don't have a simple answer for me?
yeah, well, that's why you're asking too, because you don't know either. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But if it's a great idea, and I do think this is, basically, you make
Wait,
it
Duke, what do you think, man?
If anyone listens to this show, Ron, they already stole your idea.
Yeah, probably.
If you make a patent as broad as possible, right? And we were weirdos enough early enough that there is no other patent for modular battery boxes. We have it. So,
wow.
You know, we could really do something with that, or sell it, or I don't know. It could be. So that's me in about 10 years, Ron.
Okay.
Ron's waiting for the market of electric lawnmowers to go up, so he has to drill a few more holes in his idea.
I got an engine stand going on, and I didn't release it yet. It's been on hold, and it's so lame. I'm gonna kickstart it very soon. The person I work with contacted me, and he's like, "Dude, what's going on?" So that's a whole other side story. But we're gonna restart that project and get it out there. Does anybody in this crowd have any patents experience besides Brandon? Nobody.
Pull up the other one.
Okay. All right. So this was a battery module solution. What is the next problem that you solved with a
sorry. I put a stationary storage link. Are you able to hit that?
Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
And that's just another example. In this case, this thing would sit in a garage or a basement.
Oh, really? Interesting, like a power wall.
That is roughly 6 power walls.
That's a lot of power.
For, I don't know, a third or a quarter of the price.
Oh my God! Wow, no kidding.
And that's one of Jack's battery controllers.
Interesting.
I'm sold. I want one for my house and one for the truck.
There you go. Now
the charging station CEO wanted me to build this for him. So we actually did all the wiring. We usually don't do that, but we built this up for him.
This is 85 kilowatts.
It is.
That's a lot.
That's one car.
Yeah, that in your house. Usually, what's a power wall usually? Like 10K?
No, it's about 14 kilowatt. I think it's about 13 and a half usable. Depending on which version you have. I think the original ones were like 11.
There's your 6 walls, yeah.
You know what the crazy thing, I always forget and I kind of like glance over it, but the crazy thing about having these conversations so early on is like we forget that I always feel like I'm late to the game, or that we're talking about this like we've doing it for a while. It's brand new. This is all new. Every house will have some sort of power battery backup, and everyone's going to have at least one electric vehicle in their fleet. And so this is early days. Like, this is still weird stuff to talk about, which is wild. Yeah. And you're coming up with these solutions that are DIY, which is great because you're dropping the cost.
Oh, can I say, we made it for ourselves, just to finish that thought. And
yeah.
we never meant for selling them. We never intended to discover something that had mass appeal. We just did the best thing we could think of for what we needed. And then, holy cow, it's been amazing. Like, yeah, we sold a lot of these for DIY projects. And you know who, I don't know, a third of our customers are?
Tell me.
EV conversion startups.
Oh, okay.
They want to get the first one done overnight. They want to burn up tires and get a list of clients, and they want to make a big splash with minimal effort and minimal time. So they come to us to help them get the first one done in a rush.
Got it.
So talk about how fun is that? You know, John's.
Who's that?
John is the guys in Australia doing the Land Rovers.
Oh,
top of the line stuff. They packed their one of their first vehicles full of our boxes, and we're trying to waterproof them so they could ford rivers with them. And it was just, we were sending them to the other side of the world, you know, and they were going to license our product and build those boxes over there. We've had a number of opportunities to license the product.
Wow, no kidding.
Who else? You remember Pimp My Ride, West Coast Customs?
Yeah.
It's been a crazy year, but this year, at almost the same time, we got an offer from Netflix to be part of a program they were having where you redo a car, and West Coast Customs was going to be the shop doing the work, and I didn't really like the pay-to-play model. I never had to before, kind of like they did for Chuck Berry, right?
Dude, that's a reality of entrepreneurship.
I may kick myself someday, but I'm not so far, because something really turned me off about the way they were running it. And I said, who's your, engineer running this or putting it together? And you know what they said? Can you recommend anybody out here in LA? I said, you know what? Pay to play is one thing. And now the threat of safety issues, which is my immediate thought. I walked away from a Netflix opportunity, So,
but Brandon, I appreciate that, because sometimes these networks are crazy. Like I had some years ago, I did some auditions that they asked me to come in, and they wanted me to like talk smack about the other builders, and I was just like, I don't know if this is for me. And they were like, can you bake a cake? And I was like, wait, what? And they wanted me to like be on a cake show. I was like, all right, this is like too much. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Discovery Channel.
On your energy, man. You would do well on those shows if you really wanted to.
I'd rather just make my own show. It's like
there you go.
I can't listen to these people. The director was trying to get me to fight with the other builder. I was like, this is stupid.
Right. Right. So
it's weird.
So West Coast Customs, I don't think they know, but they leaked some of their emails when they were emailing us. They were trying to do it undercover, and they bought some boxes from us. And this past year, despite us not doing that show, they still bought boxes from us.
Oh, nice. All right. There you go.
That's pretty cool. Also, East Bay Motor Cars.
Okay.
BVMC. They're huge in San Francisco. John and then Raglan, who was just on, they did Land Rovers too, high-end Land Rover, electric Land Rovers, and he was just on Leno's show. So it's incredible. Oh, who else? Electrified Garage buys a bunch of boxes from us too, which just did Downey Dream Cars, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure that our boxes made it into that vehicle.
I think they did. When we were looking at these boxes, I was like, they look so familiar. I think at least one of the vehicles used them.
Well, so that's on my list of things to watch, right? I have never watched it.
Oh, you got to watch it, because I think that is putting everything we're talking about in the mainstream. Anybody that's watching HBO Max is going to see that. Well, if they watch it on there, it's like, what did Robert Downey do with these cars? Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I do want to watch that. Now you're reminding me of another cool thing that's happened this year. Like this past year has been insane. But for a little nobody shop, and just we are getting our first. It's not official yet, but we might get our first celebrity build. I've been talking to an East Coast celebrity, if you will. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but that's Raglan.
Nice.
Raglan Motors.
Nice. And they're running Tesla setup in there in your boxes?
They are. Our boxes made it into probably the vehicle that they impressed their clients with and got clients with. They don't show any goodie stuff, like any of the meat and potatoes in this that I ever I didn't see any.
Yeah, I'm
like,
looking for it.
I'm afraid it's just like, why are you so, okay, there's a box. But like I say, they did the first one with ours, and then, you know, gain traction and down payments, you know what I mean? I'm guessing. So they could, you know, set out with their own brand.
Sure,
But
fair enough.
they want it done yesterday, you know?
Yeah,
That's definitely a custom one, you know, that's not modular, obviously.
right. But I like the idea of modular. I like repeatability, you know? It's pretty cool.
Right.
Okay. You're gonna have to come back to the Tuesday night. We got like 10, 15 more minutes. How about let's talk about the next product that you have, which is has to do with the drivetrain.
Yeah. Do you want to Instagram it? I
Yeah,
really.
got it. What is this thing?
So, you know how you're supposed to turn two half axles, two CV joints.
Let's get a visual for people. Hold on a second.
I don't have it before. You're gonna have to find that out.
I got it. Okay, so there's Brandon bench pressing or deadlifting something.
300 pounds. Thank you.
Good work, man. You're in shape. That's great. So basically the way the Tesla motor works is you have a motor and then the brain, the controller on the other side. That's the two cans. But then the motor drives a differential, right? And a differential, you know, just think the pumpkin in the middle of your back axle. But then that goes to shafts that come out. But what if you want to change the orientation of your of the way it's facing? Now I know you have that visual of how it fits in the truck. Would this be it?
That's one way. I did that, except I put it way at the back, like when you saw the van.
Yeah, I like the van setup. I'm gonna try and find it.
But the video kind of shows it pretty well.
Okay, so I'll go back to that. But basically, you're allowing people to put a Tesla motor longitudinal instead of crossing into where I guess the gas tank would have been. Is that kind of like where it fits?
Anywhere. It could be a 13-inch drive shaft like that, or it could be a 13-foot drive shaft. You know, anywhere.
It's really cool. It's a really good.
On the van, we started to put it normal. We brought over the subframe, and we were going to mount it just like Tesla did, right? And then I realized, you know, what the hell? Why do I think I can make an 8,500-pound vehicle run on, you know, maybe strengthened or something rear subframe from a Tesla? I was losing sleep over it, right? Because we were building shock towers, we were putting everything, we were cutting holes in the floor to bring shocks through. And then I just was talking to my brother, and I decided, you know, what we should do is turn that thing sideways, put the stock rear back in, took it off eBay, nobody bought it, thank goodness. Stuck it back in the car, back in the van. And that way, that purpose-built heavy-duty stock rear end on leaf springs could do what it was designed to do. Kick all that weight, 8,500 pounds, and then you hit a bump, and now you've got 1,600 pounds, you know, for a moment, right? That's got to take that rating. And on every situation, around turns, around hitting bumps, going over a curb, and you come down extra hard. So we put it back in there, you know, that's the part of the trial and error, you know. So I lost a month of work working on those shock towers and the bracketry to hold in that other approach.
Failure is a part of learning.
There it is. So that's what we were putting in the van, and you know, those little tiny aluminum control arms. Like, is that going to really hold up?
Yeah. So I'm going to break it down for you. So basically you're pulling this subframe and the motor setup you're putting it into a van, but the van's a totally different vehicle. And so something I always tell people is leave the vehicle stock as possible. Just change what makes it go roundy. And so that's what you've done with the van. I'm looking for a van. Let's see. This might be it. And what you've done is you've taken the axle of the van and left it where it was. And then there you could see the axle clearly. That is the stock axle. But now it's being turned on one side of that differential by a Tesla motor. So now you got your power has been modernized, but your stock setup, the engineering of that van is the same van. And if you just don't tell the van anything, don't say anything to the van, and it won't know the difference. It won't know it's being driven by an inline six or whatever was there before, some diesel inline six. That's gone now, but the drive shaft doesn't care. Just spin it with a Tesla motor. Is that the description there?
Yeah, and somebody might be wondering is if there's an open differential in there, how is this able to work?
Yeah,
the other side would spin because there's nothing on the other side.
Right.
The answer is you would make a spool, take the diff out and put a spool in there instead. Or what I prefer to do is the least invasive as possible and the cheaper as possible and easiest as possible. And we lock the diff. Not by welding it. What do they call it? Lincoln lock. We didn't weld the diff. I know Zero had a cool video where they did that and they made basically a drift car. But we found a way to lock that diff very elegantly. So,
oh my God, I found the bicycle.
Oh, there it is.
That's ridiculous. Okay. Now we understand.
Oh, there's the first drive beside the bicycle.
This one?
Yeah. That's my dad's
first drive ever.
My mom's holding a grainy old cell phone, and there's my dad out there directing, making sure it's safe to pull out, because that's what parents do. That was such a crazy, exciting day. It took me 3 months of nonstop. And then you get to actually see it move.
You pulled it off. That's great. That is awesome. Very awesome. What a cool thing that's going on here. So now how do you so if you go to your website here, where is that setup?
Go up to the store. Hover over the store name.
Uh-huh.
So I like this approach here. So you're asking about the adapter now?
Yeah, how do I get that thing where I want to drive one side of it and run it longitudinal with a stock axle?
So it's related to the motor. Yeah, there you go.
Motor accessories?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's see. Oh, I see. This is your gears in case you want to run it that way.
And you also might be thinking, I got a differential in the back that is 4-to-1. What's going to happen to all that power? It's going to be 1/4 the speed it's normally at, right? So we took out the 9. There's a 10-to-1 inside the gears, inside the Tesla gear drive unit, and we put in a 4.5-to-1. And now instead of our top speed being 40 miles an hour, which it would have been, it's like 80, which is plenty.
Okay. Yeah. 80's good. This is the kit, right? This is it.
Yeah.
So you get this, you get yourself your Tesla motor, and then you're the one that you put this together yourself. Do you do this for people, or do they have to do it all themselves?
It's a DIY.
Okay. So
The,
let's see how
the attractive part about it is nobody wants to ship a 300-pound motor. And then what if what if something happens or it comes back and it's exactly the same, but they think we did something to it? There's liability involved with that. So we ship an 8-pound box, Ron. So 8-pound box.
Yeah.
This big. It couldn't be easier.
Yeah.
And they can do it in, I don't know, a few days. Break it open, pound out the center pin, put in our pins, lace through both splines. Now you've got a spool.
Yeah. Let's jump around the room and ask people what they think. And then I want to show some photos from Bergen, and then we're gonna have to get out of here. This was really good. Talik, what do you think, man?
Well, I was feeling the same energy you was. I wanted to kind of offer other thoughts about so this stuff like this is exactly what this industry needs in terms of being able to make it fit more different vehicles, because for a while we've had only Volkswagens, Porsches, anything that's kind of easy to convert without doing a lot of gutting of the car. But being able to have systems and solutions like this that allow hey, I want to convert blank vehicle. Has it been done before, or is it possible? And systems that allow for, as Ron said, about just changing what makes it go roundy and leaving most of the mechanics of the vehicle intact, as long as you're not getting too many losses, is again exactly what this industry needs, is more new products to help convert the old stuff.
Totally. Good solutions. And Barbercheck, you gonna throw a Tesla motor in that old pickup? What do you think, man?
Maybe, man. I did not do my homework for tonight's meeting. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna hop on, and I had no idea that I was gonna get. I think about this a lot. Like the electric car movement. And again, I'm not a huge guru in this sector at all. Just a little enthusiasm I catch from Ron with it. But so I keep my ear to the ground on some of it, and I'm just kind of have thought, yeah, could I retrofit these vehicles, my older vehicles, as they wear out? Because it's hard for that pickup truck. I can't easily find a small pickup truck to replace it, for one. And I just yeah, maybe it is better if I just recycled it and bought new. I don't know what the trade-off is there, but that doesn't feel good either. It's nice to keep the spirit of some of this alive. And so I love these retrofit solutions. I'm glad I got to see them like this.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey Ron, and then that's a great segue just for a different background. You hit the truck romp.
What's that? Say again.
There's a truck romp link in the chat in honor of Barbercheck.
Oh, okay. Let me find it.
In the chat.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
So by the way, this is just a DC motor with the existing transmission, but there's many ways to go about this stuff.
Here we go.
Yeah, and I think you guys are making it more accessible for people to, and I think that's really cool, because I'm probably never, I've seen the learning curve Ron has climbed from a distance, and it's I'm not fitting that into my schedule, you know what I mean? But if it's made more accessible, for a shallower learning curve yet practical solution, hell yeah.
This is half a Tesla pack under the bed.
I've got a good. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And where? Oh, that's a Chevy S10 Square.
That's my daily right now.
Oh, no kidding, really?
Yeah, I bought it already.
That's a nice looking truck.
Isn't it? It's funny how the things you grew up with, I didn't give a crap about it then, but now that it's totally a classic. I feel it, and I know the square bodies are back, which just was all coincidence.
It's fun. I have a Ford Ranger still. You know that Ranger? I had it for 6. I'm sure everybody hears this story all the time, but I had it for 16 years, and it saved me so much money. And then that really got me to the point where I could buy a Tesla. But I want to go back, and now that the Ranger's freed up from its service, I can now convert that, because I still do need something that I can just throw 1,000 pounds in and just move around.
Right.
Yeah. So
Just the next 10s are some of the most common things to convert.
Yeah. And did you do the Tesla motor in there? What's in there?
Just a DC. All right, I bought that already converted. DC motor, DC controller, and a bunch of lead acid, right? And I was just buying it for parts. But then of course, I loved having a truck. There's no way I was going to take that apart. So under the hood, it looks very, very vintage, like science fair project. I left that alone, pulled out 1,500 pounds of lead, and put in 400 pounds of Tesla lithium.
Perfect.
We lost 1,100 pounds.
And what, a 5-pack? 6?
2 4s.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Okay. So it's like a solid 100 volts, right?
But it's right between the wheels. Saddle, like a saddle.
So plenty of amps and just 100 volts, right?
200 volts.
Oh, 200 volts. Oh, you in series?
2 4s in series, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting. All right. So you got the high speed as well. Let's just go around the room real quick, and then we're going to go to the Bergen projects, and then we're going to get out of here. Duke, what do you think, man?
I'm liking that power wall. I'm looking for like that, shed project. Throw some panels on the roof. That power wall going.
Yeah. I don't know if Brandon knows, but we just did a off-grid system in Taylorville, Illinois, with the Shop Class Podcast regulars, and we did a battery backup with a solar panel, and so people are into it now. And there's a lot to go around as far as like the excitement for stuff like this. I'll just show you this. Right, this is what we just did this. And so there's a teacher that has an off-grid system now. And we put Jehu's pack, like he's got this cover that makes it easy. No wires, no soldering.
Huh?
It's a PCB board. Did you know about this?
No.
Dude, so imagine no more all the bus bars are from the PCB board. It's insane.
So it's not just. How are they strong enough? There must be a lot
they're layered. They're layered up. Yeah. I don't know if I have a photo of that, but there you go. See them all sitting there, the green and the silver.
So it goes on at one time.
Yeah.
In pieces.
Yeah, you just lay them down on the poles there, on the terminals.
Gotta check that out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go to Jehu's site. He's got all new stuff going on. It's not the same Jehu from before. Yeah, he's like you, innovating, bringing solutions.
He's the real deal. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, he's great. Yeah. I also have. Before we get to this one, hold on. Let's see. Anybody else? Peter, what do you think, man?
Yeah, this is a really good, invention and nice development. And yeah, it's nice to be on the bleeding edge of things and not even know it, but developing good things.
There's plenty of bleeding going on.
There you go. Nick, you gonna put some power walls in? Oh, Nick has a bread truck that's got a tree growing through where the engine was.
Oh, bread trucks are on my radar. Step vans, right? Step van.
Oh, Nick, you might have a buyer.
Gonna need a frame.
All right. Okay, so I have a photo that kind of tells the story of Bergen. Boom.
Oh, wait. I don't have that one.
I'll share it with you. I'll give you the whole album. This
Is this one of your own pictures?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. This is 30. The reason we have the phone is because it was showing how cold it was.
I
was
can't read it.
It was like 30 degrees, and we're
Yeah.
out there pulling this engine. Look at this disaster.
In what? In 30 degrees, Ron, and gravel.
Yes.
So you're not rolling anything.
No. It was like terrible.
We had to roll the truck on its wheels because you're not.
I started to make a joke about this back lot that they lent us. I was like, this is where projects go to die. You know, like you got to be tough to make it out of this back lot.
That was ridiculous.
Absurd. We should have said no from the beginning. But actually, what's amazing from this is that there's some people here that like really thrived out of there. So you obviously, and then there's Sammy, right? And Qasim.
Who's that? I can't tell who that is.
So this was me, but then there's Qasim's in there. There's Qasim.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, did he ever thrive?
Oh yeah. We were so cold. He's wearing like a coverall on top of a coverall on top of a snowsuit. We were freezing. But we had some really good people. Now, if you look, this is Qasim and this is Sam. Sam started a company called Polycup, which is they convert cars. Do you talk with them at all?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I got a text while we were doing this podcast.
Oh, no kidding, right? I ran into him. He walked in to get some metal, and that's where I teach classes at the metal supermarket on weekends sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Hackensack. He just rolled in. I was like, oh, my God. And then this is Rafi. Rafi worked in and out of Tesla, and now he works for a company that is repairing the auto body of like Lucids. If you get a Lucid into a crash or a Tesla, they specialize in like high-end aluminum stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is us steam cleaning this thing. Oh my God. It was something else, man. This was a project. We started with this just to see if it fits.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I think I borrowed that from our Lotus project. But this is us getting a police escort in and out of the, from the graveyard into the workshop. Oh my God, look at Sam's car back in the day.
Yeah, so Sam, credit where it's due, that project wouldn't have happened without him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he created it. That's true. And then we finally got it inside, and then we cleaned it up. This is the workshop area, Bergen. Oops, going the wrong way. Bergen.
So I used to drive all the way up there in my Saab, which is that's non-trivial, right?
Yeah.
For an electric car going hundreds of miles. And then I would work all day with you guys at Bergen. There you go.
Yep.
And then all night we'd work on his Mazda.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a dream. I was loving it.
That's cool, man. It was hard work.
There's no sleeping.
No. And you came to Memorial and showed your car to my students.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we charged your car there. That was pretty cool. Here's you lining it up. That was pretty cool.
Once we got it finally indoors, I hardly remember it being indoors. It was so
very short-lived. They kicked us out. But I found that room. I'll just skip ahead. I found that room. Oh, this is us towing it and then welding stuff and whatnot. Oh my God. I found this room off the side that the school kind of forgot about. And I don't know how, but we shoved it into a closet. Like literally the truck. We got it inside somehow. Let me just try and find it.
119?
Yeah, SA 119. It's still there. Look, it's inside now. Next to a boiler. It was like a boiler closet room.
How old is this picture?
Oh God. All this stuff is let's see, information. 2018.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we got the wheels to spin. Long story short. And we did this cool engine plate. Did you ever see our engine turn plate?
Yeah.
And we did that, and then we braced it up, and I kind of left them hardware wise. I left them hardware done, but electronic wise, I think they oh, this is me like packing it up. Yeah, I don't know where they're at now, but they're like, look at this thing like shoved in sideways into some back.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
that's a hysterical shot.
Look at this. It's ridiculous. There's no room to work. But anyway, they're still working on it. This project doesn't die.
Right.
It also doesn't live.
Rolling.
This is us like putting everything back. I was like, before I leave here, we're putting everything back. So I just grabbed everything and I was like, all right, just throw this thing together because I decided I needed to move on from Bergen.
Put it back where?
What?
Put it back where?
Everything's in SA 119, and I just wanted to leave them, you know, in a position of potential success.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. Oh, yeah. Here's the wheel spinning. So it did move.
Nice.
That's under electric power, man.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive running.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks.
Check the box. Check the box.
Yeah, I was literally at that point just checking boxes. I had to get out of there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, wild ride. I can't believe we're still on this ride. It's like a slow-moving tsunami of electric vehicles. Like it just doesn't end. It's incredible. Very cool people, all connected together. In the interest of time, we got to end it here. But Brandon, I really appreciate you being on the podcast. I think you've come a long way, man. It's really impressive, the stuff you're doing. I'm taking notes. We're all learning. It's very cool.
Yeah, just you got to be a little bit insane if you want to get, you know, bleeding edge, back to that term. You know, you got to be ready to bleed, and it's not going to be easy, but somehow the positives outweigh the negatives. You know, and to see that, you know, one last comment on that van. When you swap that 10-to-1 in the Tesla to 4-to-1, 4.5 to 1, you know what that means for torque, right?
You probably gain a ton, right?
We got more than 50% more torque than a Tesla.
Did you probably might break? Do you have to detune it? Do you break axles?
As much as I want to slam my foot down, I don't, because it's not my van to break. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where you have to be thinking about that.
Wow. What's the? I don't even know offhand. What is the diameter motor on a Tesla? Is that 11 or 12?
Oh, I don't know. It looks like 11. It looks like about 11 or 12.
Okay, yeah. Just a ridiculous amount of power. And it's not just the power, it's the RPM. It does 16,000 RPM. So it's a lot of torque and a lot of RPM. I describe it, I have a bicycle analogy. I say it's like riding a bicycle with no gears, but your leg is this big and you never run out of RPM.
Right.
So those are the two limiting factors. You
can't coast. You can't coast. You can't really coast because your legs would have to be moving like a track bike, you know, like a fixie. You know what a fixie is?
It's a fixie. That's exactly. It's like a fixie with a leg the size of your entire body and no RPM limit.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, they understand bicycles, but they might not understand. Because what's the common question everybody asks? How come Teslas don't have gears? Because they have enough torque to be in fifth gear the whole time.
Right.
That's basically what's going on. And they have enough RPM to be in fifth gear the whole time as well. It's insane. And also, that's only possible because of not just the motor, but the pack. You can't do that without the 400 volts and all the amps. So it's a lot of things that make this all possible. So I remember Tesla was breaking gearboxes when they had a 2-speed, and then their engineers were just like, all right, well, let's just make this thing crazy powerful, and we don't need a gearbox any longer. Anyway.
Yeah, EVs are good news. That's why I think of them as good news. It's really exciting to tell people about them.
Yeah,
you know, it's all good.
Nice. Well, I hope you join the Tuesday show. And we're trying to get this guy. I don't break some news here. This guy named Maverick that has a Tesla small drive unit clone. Oh, you know about this, huh?
He was beside me at SEMA.
You got okay. Get him on the phone. I need him on the Tuesday night.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I don't know how to talk to him. You got to get.
We're talking about collaborating on a project, so I've talked to him a lot. Awesome.
Very cool. Okay, we're gonna end the recording here, Brandon. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Rob.
Podcast. Stay tuned next week. We got a welder inventor from Salt Lake City, Utah, and what he does is he operates one of the lifts. So he knows about diesel mechanics, electric mechanics, and he's a full-time welder as well. And he's got this little invention for marking out and laying a middle divider. I'll pull up his Instagram real quick, just a little preview.
Picket Master Pro.
The Picket Master Pro. Thank you. What's his Instagram? Do you know, Nick?
Salt something. I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
SLC Salt City Steel.
This is it right here. I'm going to pull it right up. This guy's super cool. He's been listening to the podcast, and he emailed me, and I said, yeah, dude, we should get you on the podcast for sure. So this is I don't know how I didn't have him follow. That's weird. Anyway, yeah. So here he is right here. This is his invention. He sells this, but he also operates the lifts in Salt Lake City. And he's a welder, and he's got all these fun videos. His daughter is his best marketing person. He's got some pretty funny videos with her, and he's got a lot of good stuff. Oh, I guess he had an injury there. That's wild. We have to talk to him about that. So anyway, yeah, he's next week. We'll get some info on him, and that's basically it. I also want to do a roundtable of administrators, supervisors of shop class. Get them on the Shop Class podcast, get their opinion, stuff like that. Okay, so let me kill the recording here. Thank you so much, everybody. And we usually hang out for like a minute afterwards, but let me just end the recording.